Uh, you know the story. It is the ultimate cautionary tale in the business world. 2016, Wells Fargo.
Oh, yeah, that one.
They didn't just want their bank tellers and service reps to help customers. They wanted them to sell.
Very aggressively.
Right. And this is the ultimate example of a common mistake, forcing this idea of ambidexterity the wrong way. They put massive sales goals onto a pure service role, and the result wasn't a success. It was a disaster. Millions of fake accounts, a ruined reputation.
It is the textbook definition of a good idea executed in the worst possible way,
Oh,
It's what happens when you just force two totally different worlds together.
exactly. So in the next few minutes, we are breaking down the research into 3 sales tactics that will increase your sales.
Without creating a massive scandal.
This is Inside Sales Geek, where we translate academic sales research into practical strategies that actually work.
Glad to be here.
So today we are looking at a really fascinating paper by Hughes and Ogilvy. It's called When Sales Becomes Service.
And to really get this, we have to start with the core academic term they use. Frontline ambidexterity.
Ambidexterity, usually that means like being able to write with both hands, right?
Right. But in this context, it's about handling two opposing behaviors at the exact same time.
Okay.
On one hand, you have service. So that's solving problems, showing empathy, keeping the customer happy.
Typical support stuff.
Exactly. And on the other hand, you have sales. Generating revenue, finding new business, pushing for an upsell.
Which honestly sounds like the dream employee. You just tell your team, hey, be super helpful, but also close a bunch of deals while you're at it.
Sure. On paper, it sounds great. But as we saw with the Wells Fargo thing, it is incredibly hard to do. The human brain actually struggles with it.
Because they feel like conflicting identities.
Yes. It's the I'm a helper identity versus the I'm a hunter identity.
Mm.
And this brings us to the core problem the research highlights. Most companies try to force this combination. They call it inorganic ambidexterity.
Inorganic, like artificial.
Right. It's entirely top-down. It's a mandate. It's a manager walking into a call center and saying, okay, everyone, I know your job is to fix problems fast, but starting Monday, you also have a quota to cross-sell new software licenses.
Which just feels like a complete bolt-on. You're just gluing a new job description onto the old one.
It is a bolt-on.
Yeah.
And the paper shows this creates massive role conflict. You are asking someone to be two different people at once.
So the employee is just sitting there thinking, if I take the time to sell, my service times get worse.
Exactly.
But if I just focus on service, I miss my sales quota and I get fired.
It creates incredible stress. It creates mental barriers. And eventually, burnout or unethical behavior.
But we can't just stop doing both, right? Because the modern market kind of demands that we do both.
We absolutely have to do both.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal is to move toward what the researchers call organic ambidexterity.
Okay, organic.
Yeah. It's the realization that in today's market, selling actually is service. They aren't two separate buckets anymore.
I like that. Selling is service. And that leads us perfectly into our first tactic. Tactic number 1, stop adding tasks, start evolving roles.
This is that critical shift from inorganic to organic. Inorganic is just simple math. Job A plus job B. You're piling tasks onto people.
It's like those old late-night infomercials.
Oh, totally.
But wait, there's more. Except instead of getting extra steak knives, your boss is saying, here is a sales quota to go with your tech support tickets.
And nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Imagine a career customer service rep. Their whole professional identity is built around helping people. They pride themselves on empathy.
Right.
Suddenly, management tells them to push a product. They feel conflicted. They might even feel dirty, like selling is a betrayal of their real job.
Because in their head, selling means taking money and service means giving help.
Exactly. That is the failure of the inorganic approach.
So what does the organic version actually look like for a team? How do you fix that identity crisis?
You have to look at the modern consultative seller. This person does not see solving a problem and selling a solution as two different things.
They happen in the same conversation.
They occur naturally together because the market demands it. If a client has a really complex problem, the service part is diagnosing it.
And the sales part is just prescribing the fix.
You got it. Let's look at a real scenario. Say a client calls in with a messy software issue. A traditional service mindset just patches the bug to get them off the phone.
Just close the ticket as fast as possible.
Right. And a traditional sales mindset tries to pivot the conversation to pitch a totally unrelated product.
Which annoys the customer.
Tremendously. But the organic ambidextrous mindset says, look, I see the problem. The reason this keeps crashing is that your current tool wasn't built for this much data. To actually fix this permanently, you need this upgraded module.
Ah, I see. So the sale isn't some awkward add-on at the end of the call. The sale is the actual solution to the problem.
Bingo. The rep isn't thinking, okay, I helped them, now I have to switch gears and sell. They are thinking, to serve this client, I have to provide this solution, which happens to cost money.
That completely reframes the whole interaction.
It does.
Ooh.
The research calls this value co-creation. You and the customer are building the solution together.
So for the sales leaders and managers listening, what this means for your team is you have to stop treating sales and service as separate buckets.
Stop bolting them together.
Right. Don't just add a quota to a service desk. Instead, hire and train for that consultative mindset. Teach your team that selling is not pushing a product.
It's the act of servicing a complex need.
If your team truly believes that, the conflict just melts away. But here's what surprised me about this research.
Well, the natural selection part.
Yes. The paper talks about how this isn't just a nice training concept, it's actually an evolutionary shift in the market.
It's fascinating. The researchers point out that because buyers demand so much more insight now, natural selection is taking over. Employees who naturally adapt to this organic model, who can consult and sell at the same time, they're the ones thriving.
And the ones who can't. The old school pure order takers or the aggressive cold callers.
They get left behind. The market just selects them out.
Yeah.
You can't survive as a one-trick pony anymore.
It's adapt or become obsolete.
Pretty much.
Okay, let's move to tactic number 2. Because even if you build this incredible, organically ambidextrous team, you shouldn't just unleash them on everybody, right?
Yeah, definitely not. And this is a trap I see smart organizations fall into all the time.
Applying it to everyone.
Right. They train up this elite consultative team, and then they point them at the wrong accounts. They treat every single buyer like a VIP who needs a deep diagnostic session.
Which brings us to tactic number 2. Align your strategy with the customer matrix.
The researchers map this out brilliantly. It's based on 2 main things. First, account complexity.
Like how messy or difficult the customer's problem is.
Exactly. And second, customer orientation, meaning are they a transactional buyer or a relational buyer?
Okay, let's paint a picture for everyone listening. Let's take scenario A. Low complexity, highly transactional.
This is me buying printer toner for my home office or a pack of pens.
You do not want a relationship with the pen salesperson.
I absolutely do not. I want speed. I want a low price, and I want to click 2 buttons and be done.
So if a rep calls you up to, try and co-create value around your ink needs.
I'm hanging up. I'm not just indifferent. I am actively annoyed. That is terrible service.
So what this means for you is don't force your team to build relationships here. For these low complexity transactional accounts, the research explicitly says the best service is speed and self-service.
Use automation. Use AI. Use a really good digital portal. Do not waste your expensive human reps on this.
The customer doesn't want them anyway.
Exactly.
All right, compare that to scenario B. High complexity, relational.
This is the complete opposite. This is a hospital system upgrading their entire IT infrastructure, or a factory buying custom robotics.
Massive stakes.
Huge stakes.
Yeah.
They're confused, there's a lot of risk, and if they buy the wrong thing, people get fired.
So they value insight. They need a guide.
This is where you deploy your organic ambidextrous humans. Their job is to get in there, share insights, and co-create that custom solution. If you tried to force this hospital into an automated self-service portal, they would leave immediately.
They need the high-touch human element.
They demand it.
So for the leaders listening, audit your accounts today.
Please do.
Stop applying this blanket sales plus service pressure to every single customer. If they are low complexity, use automation. Save your human capital for the complex relational accounts where it actually moves the needle.
It's about efficiency.
But here's the catch.
There's always a catch.
If you misalign this matrix, if you try to relationship sell a transactional buyer, you don't just waste time. The research says you actually destroy value.
You do. You become the annoying vendor. You think you're providing great service by calling to check in, but you're just creating friction for someone who wants to be left alone.
Quick pause. If you're finding this valuable, hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. And share this with your sales team.
Definitely share it with your managers.
Okay, we are back. We've covered the mindset shift to organic ambidexterity. We've covered the customer matrix so you know exactly who to target. Now we need to talk about execution.
Because wishing for it doesn't make it happen.
Right. Tactic number 3. Enablement is a system, not a pep talk.
I love that phrasing. Not a pep talk. You cannot just stand up in a Monday meeting, Tell your team to be ambidextrous and expect results.
It doesn't work that way.
It absolutely doesn't. The research highlights that individual personality traits aren't enough. You need an enablement strategy that hits 3 levels: macro, managerial, and micro.
Let's start at the top, the macro level. This is organizational, right?
Mostly, this is about your compensation and incentive structures. And this is where companies fail the hardest.
Give us a scenario.
Okay, a sales VP tells a rep, look, I need you to build really deep, long-term relationships with these accounts, really service their ongoing needs.
Sounds great. That's organic ambidexterity.
Sure, but then the compensation plan only pays out commission on net new logos closed by the end of the quarter. No bonus for renewals. No reward for customer satisfaction scores.
Oh, wow. So the rep is just going to completely ignore the relationship building part?
100%. They have a mortgage to pay. They will follow the money. And that is a failure of macro enablement.
So what this means for you is, if you want organic ambidexterity, your comp plan has to match. You have to track and reward things like account expansion and renewal rates, not just the initial close.
You have to put your money where your strategy is.
Okay, so that's the macro level. Let's look at the managerial level. The paper cited an industry report here that really stood out.
Yes, this is a massive finding. They reference data showing that as little as 3 hours of coaching a month per rep can significantly boost performance in these complex roles.
Just 3 hours. That honestly doesn't sound like a lot. I feel like managers talk to their teams way more than that.
They talk to them, yes, but they aren't coaching them. Most one-on-ones are just pipeline inspection. Hey, did you update the CRM? When is that contract getting signed?
That's not coaching.
Not at all. The research says that for ambidextrous selling, managers must coach their reps specifically on navigation.
Navigation, like figuring out the buyer's org chart.
Actually, it's internal navigation. This is crucial. If your rep is co-creating a complex solution, they need resources. They might need an engineer to join a call. They might need legal to tweak a contract. They might need custom pricing from finance.
Oh, I see. They have to navigate their own company to get the deal done.
Exactly. And that is hard. The manager's job in those 3 hours of coaching is to teach the rep how to mobilize the internal organization. The manager needs to act like a snowplow, clearing the internal roadblocks so the rep can focus on the client.
That is a huge shift in how a sales manager operates. And I assume tools play a big part here too.
Absolutely. You have to use technology to offload the tactical stuff. If your highly paid consultative seller is spending 2 hours a day manually typing notes into a CRM,
you're doing it wrong.
You are wasting their talent. Use AI. Use automation for the busy work. Free up their cognitive load so they can handle the ambiguity of a complex client relationship.
Now, here's where it gets interesting.
You mean the micro level?
Yeah, the individual level. The research suggests that enablement actually starts before the person even works for you. It starts with hiring.
It really does. The paper points out that you need to look for specific individual traits. You can't just hire anybody for this. They need to be highly comfortable with 2 things: multitasking and ambiguity.
Ambiguity. That is the word that most sales leaders probably hate. They want precision. They want exact forecasts.
But the reality of modern complex selling is deeply ambiguous.
Yeah.
You are entering a client conversation to solve a problem that hasn't even been clearly defined yet.
So if you hire someone who needs a rigid script,
they will fail. If they see the world in black and white and they just want a checklist of features to read off, they cannot do organic ambidexterity. You need people who can think on their feet, synthesize new information, and connect dots in real time.
So when you're interviewing candidates, you're not just looking for the loudest, most confident talker.
No. You want the person who says, I love untangling messy problems, not the person who says, just give me the playbook and I'll dial the phone.
That completely changes how you write a job description for a modern sales role.
It has to. You're hiring a business consultant who carries a quota, basically.
This has been such an incredible breakdown. We've gone from the psychology of identity conflict all the way to how you design your compensation plans and interview questions.
It's a lot to process.
It is. So I want to make sure our listeners can walk away with clear, actionable steps. Let's recap the 3 tactics you can implement tomorrow.
All right. Number 1, shift to organic ambidexterity. Stop forcing conflicting tasks onto your team. Train them to view consulting and problem solving as the actual core of modern selling.
Number 2, use the customer matrix. Automate your low complexity transactional accounts and focus your high touch human effort only on the complex relational accounts.
And number 3, build a full enablement system. Align your compensation to reward relationship growth, not just closing, and commit to at least 3 hours of coaching per month focused on internal navigation.
So here's your call to action for the week. Pick just one of these to test with your team. Maybe you sit down tomorrow and audit your accounts using that matrix. Or maybe you take a hard look at your comp plan.
Just pick one, track your results, and then implement the next one.
This has been Inside Sales Geek, translating academic research into wins for your team. New episode every Tuesday.